Welcome back. So, in the ongoing Christmas movie theme of things, and yeah, I'm on the hockey set today. We've had to close off the room that I use for the entertainment guy set. It's just keeping the whole house warm at all is becoming more and more of a challenge with Arctic outflow winds today, so having to make do. So, I wanted to talk about the movie I Believe in Santa. Now, when I saw that was, I think, top 10 in Netflix, I thought, all right, so we watched it. Now, you'll notice my wife's not at my side because we're complete opposites when it comes to this movie. I was even up there talking to her about it about an hour ago, and we're still at complete opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of our view. Now, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 16%. There are only 3 reviews from actual, reviewers, and only one of them is a fresh review. Uh, it's a movie that has some ambitions. It's a movie that also is just weird. I spent the whole movie thinking, okay, so who's the good guy here? So you're introduced to a woman by the name of was it Lisa? Doesn't matter. Lisa meets Tom. Now, the first thing I thought was that Tom, it felt like, was going to be revealed to be a gay character later, and it's the same as in Falling for Christmas. Not true. In fact, the leads are married to each other. So, all right. At any rate, they meet each other immediately. There's no chemistry between them. There's just none throughout the whole movie. I thought he had better chemistry with his buddy, Asan. So I've got the name of the characters and the cast here. Yeah, I was more in belief of Tom and Asan as having some kind of romantic chemistry. It has to be tough if you're a married couple and the chemistry is better with other people. And so Lisa hates Christmas. That's your setup. She loves July 4th. July 4th is great. And when she was doing this whole article on how much she loves July 4th, all I could think was, this reminds me of Lisa Simpson telling the world she likes her brain. I don't understand who this article's for, and I don't understand why. And why you would email just this copy, you write it out and you email it to your editor and you're done. At any rate, it was odd because they start it in July. She's wearing a sweater, which tells you that it's not July. Even if they filmed it here, which is possible, I didn't even look at the filming locations because I don't really care in this one. But yeah, she was wearing a long sleeve sweater. You could see extras in the background wearing jeans and long sleeve shirts. So it's not July 4th unless it's a really cold July 4th, which is not established at any point or anything. My thought is it was probably filmed in the spring or the fall, but they were not dressed like it was July 4th. Not at all. So they meet, and it's odd how they meet. And he's an oddity to begin with. He's a lawyer, but he's a good guy. And I don't know. Him and Lisa start dating immediately, and then 5 months later, we're into the Christmas season, and he reveals that he loves Christmas, and she hates Christmas. And he didn't, I guess he didn't know. It was weird because in 5 months of dating somebody, especially if it's serious, you're going to talk about a lot of things. And as you're getting closer to Christmas, the topic I would think would have come up. And then he reveals that not only does he believe in Christmas, but he believes in Santa Claus. I'm not into spoiler territory because that's all in the trailer, right? And it's in the title, I Believe in Santa. Now, the way that I saw it was this. If you're going to do this movie, it'd be interesting if the character in question had seen Santa or thought he'd seen Santa, something, right? And I even, before making this video, checked, and there was a poll taken that apparently 1 out of every 5 American adults believe in the existence of Santa Claus. Which, oh, okay, I don't know how exactly they thought it was phrased, and I don't know how many of those were, yeah, I believe in Santa, and they hang up the phone and go, I'm never answering that phone again. That's such a dumb question. And so, I don't know. I don't know if I actually believe 21% of adults still believe in Santa. The number of kids, it's around 50. But it was weird because immediately, Tom's not just talking about Santa in this, like, mystical way, in this whole, well, you can't really know. But, like, he knows. Oh, no, this is how this works. Oh, yeah, no, this is how that works. And oh, at the North Pole they do this, and especially when he said, oh, at the North Pole they can make iPhones. So believing in Santa, all right, believing that they manufacture iPhones at the North Pole, which I'm assuming would also be covered by warranty. So, a kid gets an iPhone for Christmas. It's not covered by warranty. Who do you go to? Like, do you have to do the elves have their own number for support? Like, I can understand wanting to believe in things that are outside of our own vision, things we can't see or feel, and I get that, and that's fine. So if he said, well, we can't understand that, and I don't think we can rule them out, okay. You don't have to prove a negative, though. You have to prove a positive. So you don't have to prove you didn't do something. You have to prove that you did. It's a general idea, and I know I'm overly simplifying it, and that's okay. We'll move on. My point being this, that Tom comes across as crazy. He absolutely comes across as crazy. They play it off for laughs, but not really. She does the Kevin McAllister scream in the movie twice. Her face in her hands. And it's awkward because you can tell that when she does the scream, it's a while after she got this information she didn't like. And so you waited and now you're screaming? Who does that? I mean, I would be concerned if somebody that I was dating turned out to be crazy. Yes, absolutely. Most guys would say, well, she's crazy, but is she hot? But that's beside the point for this. The reality is that this movie just, it does, I don't think it made up its mind on what exactly it wanted to be, and it's just weird. Because it comes across in the beginning like, okay, so Tom knows Santa Claus, and he's trying to find a way to tell her he's met Santa Claus, or something. Or, when you're a kid, maybe you see Santa Claus out in the living room putting presents under the tree, something. So, spoilers. I'm going to get into spoilers from here. For anybody who might want to watch it, I would think people have already watched it if they want to. No. Never met Santa Claus, never saw Santa Claus, but is so convinced that he exists. And so again, it's weird, and they try to make it like, well, it's the same as religion. Not like, I get where they're going with that, but it's not the same as religion. It's not. In the case of Santa Claus, we we know that it's like, I remember when I was a kid, I went to Kmart, and yeah, we weren't rich when I was a kid. So my mom takes me to Kmart, and I'm like, I really want these stuffies. And it was Garfield Nodie. I'm like, I really want these Garfield Nodie stuffies, because I was a big Garfield fan at the time. I was, I think, 11. And my mother said, no, absolutely not, no. You're not getting that. Now, it's too close to Christmas for you to be in this area, so don't worry about it. And I said, well, fine. And I went to the music section. Anytime I was in a store at that point in time in my life, I would go to the music section. I'd be looking for some obscure tape / cassette for the youngins out there of a band that I knew I wasn't going to find, or something new, or something I could show my mother. Say, I want this for Christmas. Because there were times that she would get me a tape and I already had it. Or she'd get me a tape and it was kind of what I wanted, but not really. So I wanted to be able to show her. So I came out of the music aisle. I think I was going to come down and get her for something. And I saw her with the cart. And it had Garfield and Odie in it. And I was like, huh. All right. Well, I'll see where this goes. So Christmas morning rolls around. And underneath the tree, unwrapped, because in my house, the Christmas presents from Santa were unwrapped. I now understand what those were for. That was because Mom and Dad want to sleep in. They don't want to be bothered at 4 in the morning. The earliest that I woke up one time was 4:30 in the morning. They don't want to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And so, I would get up and I'd be like, okay, so I want to go back to sleep. I'm going to check the tree. And so there's presents under the tree that are unwrapped. Well, Shannon can play with those, and then you can sleep for a while longer, right? So I get it, but I came out that morning, and there's Garfield and Odie. And the only thing I regret in hindsight was that I didn't do something to them to verify that those were the exact same ones. So I got them, and I admitted to my mother afterwards. I said, "So I guess I don't believe in Santa Claus anymore." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "That's the Garfield and Odie from Kmart. I saw you with that in the cart, and now it's under the tree." And she's like, "Well, I guess it's a shame if you don't want presents from Santa Claus anymore." And my brain worked pretty quickly on that. I was like, "Oh, no, we don't have to do that. No, ho ho ho. Yep, Merry Christmas. I believe, I believe." But that's the experience that a lot of us have. Whereas we get older, something happens. Either you find presents you end up with underneath your tree. Maybe your parents tell you. When I was raising my kids, we never pulled the Santa Claus thing. It was weird because my kids would always go to Santa Claus and sit on his lap and ask him for presents. And I remember I would stand there with my ex and say, it's weird because they never actually put together that underneath the tree on Christmas morning, there are no presents addressed from Santa. They were always addressed from my ex, from myself, from family. There was never anything that said to one of them from Santa Claus. But they believed, and I didn't discourage it. And one day, the kids would say, well, I don't really believe that anymore. And my answer was, well, yeah, we didn't buy extra presents just from Santa. We bought a bunch of extra presents just from us. And in the case of how kids are being raised in this house now, there is no selling to the children of the belief in Santa Claus. It does not. I don't think it takes away from the Christmas experience, although I do remember that sort of magical feeling about the whole Santa Claus thing. My point to this is simple. We outgrow it. So what you've got is you've got a movie with a guy who has not outgrown it, will argue and fight to not learn any new information. You find out that Lisa hates Christmas because she found a Barbie doll. Her parents found out she found it and told her she ruined Christmas and took it back. This kind of thing does happen. There are parents that are just awful if their kids find a present. There are parents that do that. But the idea that it would ruin Christmas decades later, I mean, it's possible. I'm not necessarily completely shoving that aside, but I thought it was kind of a flimsy reason for her to hate it as much as she did, and hate it for everybody else too. Just as I hate this holiday's stupid kind of thing. Okay, fine. But in a movie that just has these bewildering twists and turns, and they are bewildering. He has this best friend that knows he believes in Santa Claus and accepts him despite that, and they admit that despite that kind of part of it, but there's no payoff. Like there's no like that. I think that's why I wanted to see that either like he was an elf or something, because he always seemed to me like he was dressed like a Christmas elf anyways. There are points where he's wearing certain outfits and I'm like, so they know he looks like an elf, right? I'm not just seeing this, right? He looks like an elf. This is weird. And yet there's never anything in this that explains, to me anyways, that explained it in a way that worked. I thought it was clumsy. I thought it was weird. I didn't think that the acting was fantastic. I always do think it's weird when it's a real life married couple and the on screen chemistry isn't very good, and it just wasn't. I didn't believe them as a happy couple in the movie. As I've seen others say online, it looked to me like he had more chemistry with his best friend, with the guy who was there with him the whole time. And I think there should have been more time with him and his best friend and less time of him and the girlfriend. Because, and the way too that he revealed that like he has all of this Christmas stuff and he spends days and days just putting all this Christmas stuff up. I don't know. It was odd. The whole thing was odd. It was really, really. And then, I don't know how to call in. You don't know how to call into work? Okay. It just, the whole movie was to me kind of weird. But I will say this. It's a so bad it's good movie to me. I will watch it again. I will watch it again, and when I do, I will take notes. I will take notes of things that don't make sense. I will take notes of lines that I think are hilarious, unintentionally hilarious, and I will likely be watching that by myself because, again, my wife enjoyed it. She thought it was a good movie. I even told her, I said, well, maybe after I do my review, then you can do your version of it as well, and then people can make up their minds for themselves. It doesn't mean my opinion's right or her opinion's right. There's just two differing opinions on that. But it was just, it was a weird movie to me. He was a weird guy. And there were points where I was like, so horror movie then? Like, it felt like it could dive into horror movie where, like, it felt like he could get, like, crazy obsessed with her. And he could get mad at her for not believing in Santa. And just, like, there's ways they could have taken this that would have been really dark. They didn't do it. And so it comes across as this weird Hallmark movie feel oddity. I still wonder if there's stuff I was missing, if there's stuff that might have made it make sense on some, like there's parts of it that just didn't make sense. Because again, I'm looking at this and thinking, so this is a man that's likely about my age. What has caused him to continue to believe? And why does he know with certainty what happens at the North Pole? Why is he so convinced of, like, it's not just a, well, I kind of, just casually believe. It's a fervent belief. I believe, and therefore I am right. This is, and I just thought that was weird. Just really, really odd. But I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Let me know what you thought if you saw the movie in the comment section below. I even watched the trailer on here on YouTube before this review because I just thought I thought, is it as weird as I think? Yeah. Now, a lot of the comments underneath that trailer are along the lines of people liking it. There are also comments of, well, I need a Christmas movie, so this will do. And I know there's a lot of that too. But I don't know. I think between this and Falling for Christmas, which we reviewed the other day, I think Falling for Christmas was a better movie in terms of some kind of cohesion to it, even if it didn't make a lot of sense either. But this was just, again, so bad it's good. I did see one review that said it's disorienting in the same way as The Room is. So yeah, it's an odd movie. And it's really weird. And there's fake snow. There's a lot of fake stuff in this that I thought was odd. There's a green screen that is so shockingly bad as well. Like, horrible green screen. Just awful. Which might be where The Room comes in as a comparison. It is the worst green screen. If the why is the background blurry was the first thing, like the background being blurry on your green screen makes it look worse. Makes it look like the green screen is a static background of a moving picture. And it distracts the eye, and right away you're like, that background is so not really there. So it's just, yeah, there's a lot of things in this that are weird. Really, really, really odd. And yeah, the downhill, I'm not going to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but the downhill cardboard race thing, no. I saw that and I was like, yeah, he didn't make that. There's no way he made that. He didn't make it. He didn't do it. But at least they took the red-green duct tape joke and made it really not funny. That got me too. Where they tell another version of, if you can't fix it, duck it. And I was like, wow, they really sucked the fun out of that joke and made it not funny. Awesome. But anyways, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And if you like the movie, great. If you didn't like it, that's fine too. And if you thought it was so bad that you're going to watch it again because it's good, then I'm right there with you. And that's something that I could do a watch along with. I could set it up where we do some kind of a live stream and just sync it up and do it that way, because that would be entertaining. I don't know that my wife and I could both be next to each other during that, though. I don't think that would work. But let me know your thoughts. If you want to see her do her version of the review of this, let us know in the comments section below. I'll make sure she looks at the comments for this video, not necessarily the contents of the video. But let me know your thoughts. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. I'll talk to you again soon.